Hi. So having understood what sales management, year-on-year growth and month-on-month of sales, next question comes is the recurring expenditures, because sales comes in with expenditures. Remember, it is the expenditure that is going to happen because you need to hire a sales team. Now, how are you going to hire a sales team is going to become a critical component. Now, here is where your HR is going to come into the major aspect of it, because he needs to ensure that he is hiring a person who can deliver things. So how does an HR going to play a vital role here? Because he has to ensure that when he's hiring or when he's getting in the sales team, he should ensure that the salespeople come in with some amount of performance, or either be from the industry or having worked in much bigger companies. And also having a too highly salesperson also leads to a lot of problems, because he might want to drive each and everything on his own. Remember, it does not happen like that. Sales is a team effort and there is no I in team. What happens here is, when you look at it, it's overall thought process that goes into each and every person, because one single person cannot do it. Yes, in a startup you might have a few people, like you might have one or two people doing sales. So also understand, two people can bring only X amount of sales. So this becomes a critical component when you are planning your recurring expenditures or your OPEX, or keeping your sales forecast. You cannot give, for example, if it's a video production company, you cannot have two salespeople and you are trying to ask them to bring 25 clients. It's not going to work out in that way, because they also need to deliver things, and they are also human beings, and they are also limited with 24 hours a day. So what happens here is, you need to ensure that when you are planning your sales, your HR has to play a vital role, or the human resource team should ensure that they are selecting on certain parameters. Fine, they are also not gods where they can get you the best of the sales team. Yes, there would be some initial tug that happens between a member to a member in a sales team, because everyone comes in from a diversified background. When their fingerprints are not same, how do you expect their brains to match on the same wavelength? So that is where you come in with something called induction programs. So what happens here is, you also need to have a small induction for your team, which is coming from sales background, because you need to ensure that all of them come on the same wavelength and platform to go forward and deliver things. Now this is going to have a crucial impact on your recurring expenditures. You might hire 5 people of sales and give him good salaries. Remember here, when you throw peanuts, you are going to get monkeys. So being a sales team is where it's like a soldiers that you're recruiting. You need to recruit healthy soldiers who are going to deliver things for you. Having a heart patient in a soldier, as a soldier, is going to be very disastrous, even if it is a startup or for an existing company. So specifically for a startup, when you're having your sales team, you need to ensure that yes, this guy can deliver. And going forward, when you're hiring them, you also need to give them certain amount of SOPs, wherein you give them, okay, if you do such amount of sales, this is what the kind of incentives that are going to come in. These are all attractive things that you need to put across to them to ensure their zeal and zest is always motivated and they are taken care. Otherwise, there will be a slow sluggish that happens, or they might start even resting on the laurels that they had built 2 years back in some other company. Remember, in sales, you are good only till yesterday. So what happens here is, when you are getting onto your sales team, hiring them at a decent prices, do not try to negotiate. What happens here is, like, I have seen many startup founders, you say, fine, you come and work me for 3 months. If I see your performance, then I'll increase. This is not the right way to look at it. Remember, you have got a vision, you got a dream. He didn't get anything. He's going to come in to ensure his livelihood. So you need to buy him at a decent price, and then give him the clarity, this is how you need to go by. That doesn't mean that you buy him at an exorbitant price, because there have been many debacles that have happened in many of the companies where they hire. That is where you have a top management getting fired left, right and center at a smaller amount of times. So a CEO should also be ensured that the right man of a CEO is always the sales head, because a CEO's vision is carried forward to the end ground by the sales head. So when you're hiring a salesperson, give him certain decent things or a package that is very essential for him, because if he is unable to take care of his day-to-day necessities, he will be spending more amount of time sending CVs to other companies rather than getting down to the street and doing things for you. And that will automatically have an impact on your revenues, and that will ensure your expenditures of your recurring keep going high, because you need to pay them salaries. Remember, when you are starting up, ensure that you have enough amount of budgets to take care. Do not delay their salaries, like paying them once in 10 days or paying them after 15th. These are all certain bad practices that needs to be removed. When he is doing in, you need to give him the enough ammunition. It's like sending a soldier without a rifle and telling him fire bullets and kill enemies. No, it's not going to happen in that way. So when you are allocating budgets, you need to ensure that yes, I need a sales team and this is what I'm going to pay them. It may not be on par, because in a startup you may not give on par. So you will have to try to get in a person on an emotional connect. Someone who has moved out from a big company, who is looking in for things, or who wants to experiment in life. Because you will find many people who are there in a big companies in sales, they become a small point of it. So they might want to come down and help you in a startup and try to take decisions, because their decisions were only heard. Their decisions were never adopted in a bigger company. That is how things work. So when you are bringing on to a salesperson, remember you are paying him decently. You have your enough budgets too. This is one major component where a lot of startups do mistakes. They say that, okay, for next 3 months, I don't need a salesperson. So from 4th month, I'll keep his sales salary. Now we imagine if you get a real good guy in the 2nd month who walks into your office and says, hey, this is what I can deliver for you. You can't just tell him, boss, you go back and come back after 2 months because I don't have budgets. So day one, on the first month itself, whether you have a sales team or not, ensure that you have given the budgets to ensure that you pay them whenever they come in. Remember, it's employees who come in first, not the customers. It is employees who bring in customers. Hope you have got the clarity. Thank you.